have a setback.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the road throughout the whole thing. Like I had setbacks where I didn't start making the A team in rugby, and that really knocked me back. Where now in the mind frame and the mind that I have now that developed, it would have been probably one of the biggest motivating factors to get out and do more training, or to talk to someone about improving my game or something like that. But it's not the end of the road. If you have a big setback, even if you were, let's say, on the team and the team lose a final or something like that, a lot of people can lose heart in things, or if they're losing a few games on the go, they can start kind of going, don't want to be part of this team anymore, or whatever the case may be. Whereas what I would say to people in that situation, especially in your teenage years, is back your team, back the people behind it. And if you feel like you're doing something, if you're bringing something to it and bringing an element to it, to stick at it and to keep that element in the team.
Yeah.
Because if they're not succeeding now, if you left the team, they're definitely not going to have any success.
Yeah.
But you have a better chance of doing that. I remember fighting and having my first loss and thinking, oh my God, this is just terrible. I thought I was really, really good at this, and now I'm after having this loss. And it was kind of a thing where I had yet another setback in something that I thought I was good at, and I had to really kind of reevaluate things. But when I actually did reevaluate it, I said, okay, you're after getting into this now, and you're after seeing some success in it. Let's not let that be the last hurrah, let the last entry into it. And if I had given up then, I wouldn't have had the 20 fights I had after that, and had the successes and fought in front of 2,000 people. I wouldn't have been able to have those kind of successes afterwards if I had given up at that time. And these are things that I only got to know really as I went through these things. But
and I think it's really important that people do have setbacks, because it sets you up for other challenges in life.
Absolutely.
Because right from when you're a child, like I was on some video I was watching before, and someone asked them, how many times would you like pick your baby back up when you're teaching them how to walk? Like when they fall over a couple of times, you say, no, that's enough now, just stop there.
Yeah.
You keep going till eventually you get it, and then you learn how to walk.
Yeah.
It's just like any challenges. It's some people take longer than others to actually overcome the challenges. But once you've overcome one challenge, anytime you've ever come across a challenge again, you can still use that same mindset.
Yes, absolutely.
Whereas I can push through, I can learn how to do it, and I do achieve it.
A lot of the time we work as human beings on evidence. So on evidence of certain things happening. So what I've been doing over the last year only, I've been doing it my whole life, but what I've thought about it in the last year was, each time I do something tough, something that challenges me, that's yet again another piece of evidence that allows me to know that I can do it, or that I can do more than that. And that's something that drove me through when I was getting into kind of my later teens, and I was really starting to see what the ins and outs of Thai boxing was. I only made this link again this year, but I actually repeated my Leaving Cert. I did my Leaving Cert for the first time. It was the 6th year in school was the first time I really kind of actually knuckled down, and I actually kind of gave a crap about what I was doing. And I was studying all the time. I was paying my dues. It was a little bit too little, too late. Kind of. It was 1 year where it could have been 3. And I could have started it in 4th year, but I didn't, and I made that mistake. And I got a good Leaving Cert out of it. I got 4.35 the first time around, but it wasn't good enough for what I had set my sights on. So I repeated my Leaving Cert. The only reason why I had the mindset of we have to repeat is because of the loss that I had in Thai boxing. I did not want that to be the last hurrah in school. I did not want that to be the last time that I, get a Leaving Cert that I didn't want to do a college course that I didn't want to follow on like that. So if I hadn't had the setbacks and the loss in Thai boxing, I don't think I would have.
You wouldn't have done it.
I don't think I would have repeated my Leaving Cert. I don't think I would have, and not only that, I don't think I would have repeated my Leaving Cert and stayed at it with the same fervour for the whole year, and kind of basically picked up where I left off in my first Leaving Cert and studied hard. And I wouldn't have given it the same, because I had been in fight camps where I was training for a fight, where I'm training nearly twice a day and I'm looking after my diet and I'm going to bed early and and I have everything regimented. That when I got to the second Leaving Cert, everything was regimented. I was in school on time, doing my classes.
You had the mindset.
Yes.
You knew exactly
doing my homework,
what you could do.
study after work, study after school, passing my exams in class, and getting all of those things. And the link between those two things are something that I literally only discovered this year, of why I was doing these certain things. And it all comes back to the same thing as we were kind of talking about, is the mindset.
Yeah.
Is whether I wanted to see, treat this like I did with rugby, and see an obstacle and let that knock me back and knock it entirely out of my life. Or whether I wanted to see an obstacle of a loss in school or not getting the points I wanted as the setback that was going to knock me out of the whole running.
Yeah.
Whereas I didn't. I would manage to be able to go, okay, right, we've had these type of setbacks before, and look what happened after that. We had more success afterwards because we put more effort in and we put more work in. And that was something that was really, really good to kind of create that link, you know?
No, that's incredible. And it's great that you had that realization as well.
Yeah.
Because I think there's going to be a lot of people going through stuff as well, and they'll overcome challenges, but they won't recognize it for themselves.
Yes.
I know, like in our coaching course, we used to just call it your success bank. You got to bank it.
Yeah.
You have your successes, or you overcome challenges, you bank it. So anytime then when you come up against other stuff, you think back, okay, what have I done before?
Absolutely.
How did I actually push myself to get past stuff before? What was the outcome then?
It's if you look for the evidence, you'll find it.
That's exactly what it is, looking for the evidence.
You know?
You have then the belief in yourself that you can do something.
Absolutely. And it's so transferable.
Yeah.
Like no two areas of life are completely inseparable. If you look at a lot of different things, if I was to look at, if you were to say to somebody, okay, put schooling and boxing in the same category, they're not.
Yeah.
But they are, because they teach you very, very similar things. They teach you routine, they teach you discipline, they teach you dedication, and all of those things are transferable to the two.
Yeah.
People don't necessarily see that. And when you could see your quote unquote failings and then the ability to overcome those failings on both sides of it, you're slowly bulletproofing yourself to life. And that's what the whole kind of journey is about.
That's incredible. I think the sooner people learn that kind of stuff, the better.
Yeah. And it's, again, I'm 28. I've only realized it this year about how all of these pieces of my life have been kind of set in place by other things.
Yeah.
And it takes an awful long time to dissect that, you know. And it's only since I've really, really found ultra sports and I really got to the core of what's actually inside my mind and what I'm capable of, that I'm able to kind of look back throughout my whole life.
Do you think, I suppose, overcoming those challenges back then, do you think that is what's helped you with your running now as well? Absolutely,
for sure. Because again, I had the evidence every time that I wanted to go for it. In my later teens, I was 17 years old. My father's a soldier.
Yeah.
From when I was a young fella, I really just wanted to follow my father's footsteps. My dad, like a lot of people, my dad's my hero. Like, you know, he still is. You know, and I really just wanted to emulate what he was doing. So I had basically started to kind of basically groom myself to become an officer in the army, and not just an officer in the army, but an officer in the Ranger Wing in the Special Forces. That's all I wanted to do. And in that, when I was 17 years old, I actually climbed Mount Kilimanjaro for charity. And I got to the very top, even though I was highly sick with altitude sickness.
Yeah.
I got to the top and I fought through it to the very, very bitter end, and I saw the top and I got to the top, and I remember being at the top of Uhuru Peak and crying my eyes out, thinking of the idea of telling my dad, you know, I'm after conquering Africa, like, you know. And I was just like, you know, I was a 17-year-old lad, and all the sickness that I had on the way up just washed over me.
Yeah.
And it was literally like I had nausea, headaches, I was vomiting, I was actually getting sick blood. I was really
Jesus.
sick, really, really sick, tired, fatigued, heavy arms, heavy legs. And once I got to the top, it was like,
Bliss. Just.
and when I thought back at that, this year, I thought back at that time, my body did not change. There was no change in my physical state
Yeah.
when from 200 meters below to when I hit the top. There was no change in my actual physical self. It was all inside my mind. So when I transferred that into something, if when things get really, really hard,
Yeah.
I just realized that that's part of the process. That's part of the process of anything in life. Is you're going to have your moments where it's really, really tough. You're going to feel like closing up the book at 7 o'clock at night if you're studying for exams.
Yeah.
But it's that part of your mind that kind of goes, okay, an extra 45, and we'll open up the book again, and we give it a small bit more, because we know what it feels like when you get the test.
Yeah.
When you get the test, you don't think about the late night you put in. You just think, geez, I'm gonna have to get 90 on this test.
Yeah.
That's that. When I look back on those aspects of it, it's kind of everything is interconnected, and it's all again just about how you look at things, how you break things down. And people forget that. They actually forget the successes. Because I remember when I finished up Kilimanjaro and I came off the mountain, I had this kind of feeling of a small bit of an emptiness. You know,
Yeah.
I built this up in my mind. I'd been thinking about it for months before I went. Then I went over there and I was thinking about it all the time I was over there. Then we did it. And it was this huge momentous feeling, or whatever the case may be. And then I don't think I actually thought about it enough. I didn't think about it. I thought about the achievement enough.
Yeah.
That it just didn't. I didn't allow it to sink in, and then I wasn't able to build on it. If I was able to actually, think about how good that it was that I was able to do something like that, I would have been able to build on it and keep the successes going.
Yeah.